and thousands of other Las Vegans listen to KDWN every day. Many of you do that on 101.5 FM and a few others on the AM dial at 720. But times, they are changing, and so are we. At the end of February, KDWN is moving away from the AM dial, but you can still listen to all of the shows you love, all in crystal clear FM quality on 101.5 FM. Brian Kilmeade, Markley Van Camp and Robbins, Sean Hannity, Steve Sanchez, and more will remain with KDWN on your FM dial at 101.5 and online via the Odyssey app.
Hey everybody, Ken Thompson reminding you to tune in the sports section up to the Monday through Friday.
We have 7 of them here at KFIR. Mike Gallagher, Markley Van Camp and Robbins, Dina Lash,
National Series at Sports X Radio Monday through Friday, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
At the end of this month, KDWN is moving away from the AM dial. Join Sean Hannity and all your favorites exclusive to house bands. KDWN and online via the Odyssey app. Same great shows and crystal clear FM. If you haven't made the switch already, join us today.
You're listening to The Voice of the Valley, KFIR, 720 AM.
Where the wind blows wild and free. There's a lovely spot, just the only one that means home, sweet home to me. If you follow the old Kit Carson trail till the desert meets the hills, oh, you certainly will agree with me. It's the place of 1,000 thrills. Home means Nevada, home means the hills, home means the sage and the pine. The sun always shines. Here is the land that I love the best, fairer than all I can see. Deep in the heart of the Golden West, home means Nevada to me. One more time now. Home means
KDWN Las Vegas, KMXV HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed after twilight's last day, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and the
Mexico's president says Tesla has committed to building a plant in the industrial hub of Monterrey in northern Mexico. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said the promise came in phone calls he had Friday and Monday with Tesla head Elon Musk. It would be Tesla's third plant outside the U.S. after Shanghai and one near Berlin. Lopez Obrador had previously ruled out such a plant in the arid northern state of Nuevo Leon because he didn't want water-hungry factories in a region that suffers water shortages. So they said Musk companies to address those concerns, including using recycled water. Tesla is expected to announce more details Wednesday, along with plans for its Gen 3 vehicle platform at its annual Investor Day. I'm Julie Walker. Tesla's main American plant is in Fremont, California. At least 25 people are dead, over 85 injured following a train collision in northern Greece. There's an analysis that comes out at times. freeze the sun with just a few scattered clouds to the high conditions with a high of 44 and a low of 29. Friday, clouds and showers with a high of 35. And another for up to the minute. And the weather, it's the face of the valley. 7:21. One of the most important elements of cooking is taking care of yourself. If you're concerned your food is really short, now's the time to call Freedom Heating and Air. And with utility bills rising, no one wants to hear their furnace running and running and only blowing very warmly.
Good evening, friends of the intersection.
This is the city, Los Angeles, California. 70 years ago, March 1st, 1953, the Big Want. And we thank you for tuning in. Wednesday, and of course you know what that means. This is the first day of March, the 60th day of the year, 305 days remaining. Georgiana, Massachusetts became the first incorporated city in the U.S. You may not know what Georgiana is. It's now York. Began in Salem Village, Massachusetts in 1692. 1781, Continental Congress adopted the Articles of Confederation. The first U.S. Census authorized in 1790. State of the Union. 1805, Justice Samuel Chase acquitted at the end of his impeachment trial. Convention of delegates for 57 Texas communities convened in Washington on the Brazos, Texas in 1836 to declare independence from A ransom was paid, but the body of the baby found 10 weeks later, just 4 miles from the home. It would be over 6 months later. It would be captured.
Every piece of evidence available leads up the same avenue, and that avenue leads right straight to Bruno Hoffman alone.
Bruno Hoffman would be convicted of the kidnapping and executed in April of 1936 at the age of 36. Hoover Dam completed on the stage in 1936. Ripley's Believe It or Not debuted on TV in 1949. Joseph Stalin's collapsed, having suffered a stroke on this date in 1953. And
They don't have a period anymore. You know, it's fascinating, the history of what we used to use. In the olden days, yeah, they would use a rag, where the term on the rag came from. But they would also use sea sponges. Some of the earlier feminine products were made with moss because it was very absorbing. Wood pulp. In fact, it's interesting. We really slowed down on the progress of sanitary napkins until the 1800s and 1900s because there was a taboo.
Will be a pool of trained men and women
that were sold
sent
or
overseas
used
by the
today.
United States
But
government.
people in the early 1900s didn't want to purchase them because the period was considered something taboo. Even in medieval times, they thought it was evil. They thought
5,000 Americans have joined the Peace Corps and served in 141 countries. A bomb exploded in a men's room at the U.S. Capitol on this date in 1971. The Weather
women were
Underground
considered
claimed
dirty
responsibility.
and soiled. So you weren't supposed to have sex with a menstruating woman. Now, I think because there's a lot of medical applications of the Bible, I think the reason why the rule existed is because one is a woman isn't fertile most of the time. They can be, but usually is not fertile. And in the Bible, they wanted sex to be more for procreation. And number two is it's kind of painful. You know, when you're in cramps and you're not feeling well, that was a way to kind of protect women from their partners so that they didn't have to sustain sex if they were uncomfortable and having cramps and bleeding. So it was, and if there is disease spread, yeah, that the blood could carry it. Cups, menstrual cups were used in the 1930s, but again, not a very successful thing. Lister towels came out of World War I. In fact, World War I, one of the biggest, shall we say, advancements coming out of World War I were tampons and sanitary napkins. Because the World War I nurses had figured out you could use gauze and you could use certain cellulitic material to be able to make the extra cellulose with acrylic cotton could soak up the blood, and then cellulose pads were sold. So I think that's fascinating. Tampax was discovered in the 30s, and even though tampons had come out earlier than that, they didn't have the applicator.